Hello, and welcome to Pop and Heat, episode 21. I'm Kier.
And I'm Leash. And welcome to your new favorite wrestling podcast.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we are a full week and a bit past WrestleMania.
That's right. The excitement continues, though.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a new season. Yeah, new season.
Yep, for sure.
It's pretty exciting.
I'd say.
Yeah.
It's, the road to WrestleMania is obviously, pretty exciting. A lot of different stories build, and WrestleMania is the culmination of a lot of it, but it's also just the beginning of a whole bunch of new stuff. So, the excitement never stops. I saw a kind of a cool thing recently where somebody was saying one of the best things about wrestling is that there's no off season. So in other sports, you have to go a few months without the thing that you love. With wrestling, not the case.
Yeah, I feel like they do a really good job of coming out of WrestleMania, like you said, this kind of exciting season leading up to that. And then they wrap you right in for the next PLEs that are coming up. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Like any good soap opera, they keep you hooked.
That's right, exactly.
Old stories are ending, new stories are beginning, week in, week out. It's awesome.
We remain hooked on it.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here.
All that said, post WrestleMania, we've got lots to sink our teeth into. So let's get into it.
That's right. So the first night of wrestling that we're recapping this evening is April 25th, Friday Night SmackDown. That was at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah. I feel like Texas gets a lot of wrestling events.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're moving out of Vegas, so they're staying geographically in the correct area.
Right.
Easy to travel.
Makes sense.
10,942 in attendance.
Yeah, fairly average, maybe even slightly below average size crowd for the past couple of years.
That's right. Yeah. First thing that happened on this show was John Cena opened up, showing off as the new undisputed WWE champion. I mean, showing off, I don't know about that. He comes out wearing the belt backwards.
Yeah, not a huge fan of that. I feel like it's a bit disrespectful, but also that it's very purposely done that way.
Yeah, he means to be disrespectful to the belt. His whole thing was like taking the belt away from WWE. So
yeah, he's the last real champion.
Yeah, exactly.
But somebody's got something to say about that.
Yeah, Randy Orton. He comes out and interrupts and basically challenges John Cena for he wants a shot at that belt.
Yeah, which now tells us why he was the first Backlash poster released.
Yeah, you said that right away. You're like, he's on the poster, so.
Yeah. So, Backlash, we've got Cena and Orton. And I love this. I don't love Orton's chances because, for the same reasons I thought he was going to beat Cody, I think Cena's going to keep the belt pretty much this whole year.
Totally, yeah. I get what you're saying. It's kind of scary for anybody going up against John Cena this early in the year because he's got to maintain some kind of run to keep the storyline going. So
well, this is it. It's not super compelling, on his way to retirement if he's not holding a belt and causing a fuss, right? So as much as I would love to see Orton whoop him and get that belt and, be 15-time champ, I don't think it's going to happen at Backlash.
I would much rather Randy Orton be the champ. If it has to be anybody other than Cody, I would rather it be Randy Orton. So.
Well, yeah. I feel like, if he wants a belt, if he wants another championship, just go take Jey Uso's belt because that's basically all he has to do.
That's right.
Just go get it. Right?
Yeah. Randy Orton could kill anybody. Let's be real.
Pretty much.
At the end of this, obviously, as you said, Cena promises a match at Backlash for the title. Then he attacks Randy Orton, but Randy Orton gets in there with an RKO.
Yeah. Got him again.
Yeah.
And once again, leaves him just laying, just down and out. It seems, it's kind of like Cody, right? Like when he was hitting him with those crossroads.
Yeah, not a good sign for Randy Orton
Once
winning
again.
in the end.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, these guys are getting the better of them on the way to these PLEs and seemingly, knocking him out cold with one finishing move.
Yeah,
But it doesn't seem to work that way when the PLE comes around. So,
no. We finished with Randy Orton doing his Adonis pose, holding the belt up in the air,
yeah,
and he just kind of lays it on John Cena. So,
yeah. Seeing a few guys pick up belts and hold them up, like, when you're not the champion, you shouldn't do that. I feel like that's just, bad mojo.
bad mojo.
Don't do that. If you're not the champ, don't pick up the belt and hold it like it's yours.
It does seem really weird that they would do that. I don't know. I feel like there should be like some kind of unwritten rule that you're not allowed to touch the belt if you're not the holder of the belt.
I mean, under certain circumstances, like, if somebody's been jumped and the belt falls down and they're beaten up and you pick it up to hand it back to the champ, like, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Like, you
Yeah.
can touch it in that kind of circumstance. But to pick it up and be like, hey, this is mine, when it's not yours, that's not good, man. That's not
Against
okay.
the rules, okay? We're setting new rules here, people.
I think it gives you bad luck, right? Like, I mean, that's, like I say, bad mojo.
Yeah.
You're going to probably affect your chances of winning it for real.
Avoid the bad mojo.
Do so.
Next, we had Fraxium versus Las Garza.
Yeah, the one everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Fraxium is Frazier. What's his first name?
Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier, that's right. And Axiom. So they're making a SmackDown debut in this match. It was a good tag match.
Yeah, I remember Nathan Frazier from Ray Phoenix's debut. So when he came out, they had him go against Nathan Frazier, and I remember saying they probably gave him this guy as his debut match because they've got a comfortability with each other.
Yeah.
They probably have had a bunch of matches down in NXT, and they want to make sure his debut is a good one.
Right.
So I had remembered from that match that Nathan Frazier was quite the wrestler. He did some crazy stuff, takes a lot of risks, a lot of fun to watch for sure.
Yeah. It's nice to see people coming up from NXT, seeing kind of new talent for the main roster coming in. That being said, I guess this is the place to do it, but a match like this, like Las Garza doesn't have tons of exciting stuff going on all the time, so it's not a thrilling match for the crowd, but it's a way for them to introduce new talent. So
Yeah, well, and there is this kind of sub-storyline happening with Legado del Fantasma.
right.
So, Santos Escobar is talking down to Las Garza, telling them that, he wants them to be more like Ray Phoenix. And now them coming in and having a match against these guys, the pressure's on, right? Like, you can't lose to the NXT guys, right? So I can see that sort of backstory building when and if that becomes anything like of any kind of substance. I guess we'll see, but
Yeah.
I do see that happening in the background there.
And Fraxium defeats Las Garza.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Santos
Shocking.
is going to be so mad.
Playing into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gives them a little something. I joke about it, but we say all the time, like, if you're not getting storyline, then it's really hard to build any kind of name for yourself. If you're just in tiny little backstage things or throwaway matches, it's really, really hard to get the audience behind you. So at least they're giving them something with this story. It's building some sort of momentum, which is better than just giving them those kind of new things every week that were just really not compelling at all.
That's right. Yeah. I feel like if you are one of these kind of background characters that is staying relevant by doing these tiny little guest spots, you have to be very compelling. Like, take Carlito, for example, okay? Carlito barely ever wrestles. He's not in any major storyline that's not a Judgment Day storyline. I mean, he's a background character even to the Judgment Day, which he's a member of that faction. But people still like him because there's like a comedic value, and he kind of has a little bit of an it factor. Again, he's not somebody people are kind of extremely cheering for, but he does enough to stay relevant
You're
with
right.
not being the main character.
He's a great example of that. There is a difference in the fact that Carlito's been around for many years.
Of course, yeah.
And, he has built a lot of credibility. He's had a lot of success in the past in the ring.
Yeah.
And now, to your point, though, he almost never has a match that he's actually involved in besides outside interference or post-match attack.
Yeah, small post-match attack. The post-match attack.
Had to try and sneak it in there.
Now, if we do video, then I can do the direct look into the camera for that post-match attack.
That's great. Yeah, love it.
Next we had Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. So we kind of come into this because Stratton's out in the ring at Tippy Time, bragging about retaining at WrestleMania.
Yep.
And Jade Cargill interrupts her and challenges her for the belt.
Yeah, and I like this. Jade is a weapon.
I remember when she came out, you were like, whoa.
Yeah, exciting for sure. I really like Jade, and I think, they have a lot of responsibility in trying to give her the right storylines, because if they don't, it's a huge miss. She is a walking comic book character. Like, she looks like an action figure that got made into a full-size person. It is unbelievable, from a visual standpoint, what she brings. And her in-ring ability is getting better all the time. Her mic skills are getting better. I mean, she's still not amazing on the mic.
No.
But she's getting there.
Yeah.
And, they need to keep working with her because the potential is through the roof. And, to have her coming out challenging for the belt, obviously they feel the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be an exciting matchup for sure. Jade is one of the, like, a kind of, as you're saying, like an action figure, like a Rhea Ripley, like there's not many people that look like they could take her down. So it's exciting anytime she's a part of anything.
Yeah, and I like this matchup because Tiffy's a really good wrestler.
She is a great wrestler.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've got, like, major ring ability versus the Goliath kind of thing, right?
Yeah, Jade's like feats of strength, and Tiffy's got so much going for her in the acrobatics and gymnastics, you know. She does tons of stuff like that, like standing backflips multiple times in a row, that are extremely impressive. So two very different styles. Yeah. Yeah,
she's awesome.
Yeah.
And
we love her.
They're both awesome. This is going to be great. I'm pumped for it for sure.
So that match does begin, but then Naomi shows up.
Yeah.
Heel Naomi.
Yeah.
Attacks Jade Cargill, and it kind of causes a disqualification and causes chaos in the ring. During that chaos, we get the return of Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna try and push that story a little more. But again, I'm pumped about the idea of a Jade and Tiffy thing, right? So
me too.
I much preferred that angle, so I hope that gets continued.
I don't really want them to go back into any Tiffy Nia stuff. I'm just happy that Nia's back because she's been off for a while. Like all of kind of the road to WrestleMania, she hasn't been there. So.
Yeah, and I said it was a shame that Nia got left out. She's been huge into the whole thing for the last year and a bit, and I feel like she deserved to have something going on at Mania.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got a couple of really new guys taking up time. Like, listen, you could argue for a bunch of different names all night long. It's hard for them to make the right choices and to understand what would be the right choice far better than I could ever do. So, I just feel like that must have been a bummer for Nia to have built so much momentum over the past years.
With Tiffany Stratton, who was in a main event at WrestleMania because she was the champ. So, yeah, it's kind of odd that Nia spent most of last year building this storyline with Tiffy. All of it kind of to fizzle out and them to go. I understand they had to do that with Charlotte Flair, or maybe they felt like they had to do that with Charlotte Flair coming back, but it just kind of fizzled out, and then they just left her out of the entire road to WrestleMania. So.
Yeah, and now that we know what happened with the Charlotte thing, like I'm pretty sure it's safe to say there are regrets.
Yeah.
Like that did not go the way anyone wanted it to. So,
No.
and that match was just something that everyone wants to forget. So,
Well, and that's the thing. I think sometimes WWE likes when there's real drama because it fuels a storyline. But when it comes down to it and it negatively affects the way a match looks, which is what the speculation is that, you know, Charlotte's feud with Tiffy had kind of real effects that caused them to really not fight that well in that
yeah,
match. So
that's what I had heard as well. That basically, I mean, this is again just things you hear, right? People say a lot of stuff, but I had heard that essentially Charlotte was trying to make the match look bad.
yeah,
She's already got, you know, legendary status, right? So not a ton for her to lose, I guess, or so the story I'm hearing goes. Who knows? Like I say, certainly not what I'm saying. It's just what I've heard.
yeah, for sure. Anyway, lots of exciting stuff. So Jade Cargill wins that via disqualification, but it's disqualification. Um, so is it really a win? Is what I was saying.
Yeah. So again, I'm pumped for this, and they take it away, and I really hope that they run it through again because there's a lot of potential with these two. And the Nia thing, I mean, I guess they didn't give it its due
Yeah.
because I like I was saying to you earlier, I think they kind of jumped into that Trish Stratus tag match at Chamber, and then the Cena thing just kind of took over.
Right.
You know, the Charlotte, you know, wheels had to turn. So Nia, as you had said, was kind of left out. She didn't get a rematch, I don't think. So I mean, they could give Nia some more time with Tiffy, but now that you've teased this Jade thing, that's what I want. And I don't want to see Jade and Naomi anymore. Like,
Well,
you know, they did it so well. Why even roll those dice? Just let Naomi go and be a bad guy with somebody else. You know?
I do agree that they can end that now. And I think worst case scenario, they're just leaving options open for Tiffy. But I agree. I think the Jade thing would be more interesting, but I do still want them to do something exciting with Nia. So that's where I stand.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will. Next, we had Jacob Fatu celebrating his U.S. title win. And then Solo Sikoa is kind of claiming credit for Jacob Fatu's success.
Yeah, this was great.
Which I mean, storyline, people talking smack, but Jacob Fatu built this very much on his own.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it started out the other way around.
Of course it did, but I feel like rose to where he is right now because this is real life talk, okay? He rose to where he is now because suddenly the crowd loved the character he was becoming.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Overnight, he was getting the Fatu chance, and
Yeah.
I mean, deservedly so. He's a hell of a character. He's scary.
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't want to tangle with him. Yeah, he's out there celebrating his win while Solo tries to take credit, and he ain't having it.
No. And then LA Knight comes out, demands a rematch.
Mm-hmm. Rightfully so.
Yeah, of course, yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah.
But Drew McIntyre interrupts and he's seeking his title shot. So sorry.
No, I'm loving it.
Okay. This all leads to GM Nick Aldis. He comes out. Wouldn't fight Randy Orton, Nick Aldis. He comes out and books LA Knight and Drew McIntyre for a #1 contenders match later in the same night.
Yeah, and we didn't hate this.
Well, and you said, though, you're like, it's kind of weird they're doing a #1 contenders match when LA Knight should just get his rematch.
I do think that. I thought that was the case for any champion who loses a belt. Like, the first match should be their rematch. You've earned that having been the champion. I thought that's how it worked. Apparently
there are
not.
different rules on that you guys know about. Come in the comments and let us know, because we're obviously wrong on that front.
It seems so. Yeah. I mean, in this circumstance, it seems safe to say we are, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, we're big Drew McIntyre fans.
Yeah.
And I really dig the idea of him going for the U.S. Championship. You know, I say all the time, you can't have, there's not enough belts, right?
Right.
You've got all these guys at the top trying to chase these 2 championships. And I think Drew McIntyre going for the United States Championship just really adds a lot of clout to that belt.
Yeah.
This is a big time dude. He's a former world champion, like 2-time former world champion, at least 2-time. But he says he wants to fight the best.
Yeah.
So,
I love Drew McIntyre. I'm very open about that. I mean, I like LA Knight too. They're pitting a lot of my favorites against each other here, and
yeah, I mean, your list of favorites is slowly turning into
I like
the
everyone.
roster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do like everyone. So
that's good. Yeah.
So we have that match to look forward to later in the night. So we'll find out the outcome of that. Next, we had Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega. This is for the U.S. Women's title. Finally, we're getting some action with the U.S. Women's title.
Yeah, and finally Chelsea's fighting somebody besides
The same
Ivy
people.
Nile.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not Ivy Nile. Sorry.
No.
What I meant to say was Michin.
Michin, yes.
I had Ivy Nile in my head because she keeps going after Lyra.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, it was a good match for a SmackDown, another championship match. So you got to like that.
Yeah. Piper Niven and Alba Fire were ejected from ringside, so Chelsea Green ends up without her usual help that she would have.
Yeah.
And Zelina Vega overcomes, hits her move code red for the win, and she becomes and new U.S. Women's Champ.
I love it. Yeah. When she was coming to the ring, I remember saying, this woman deserves to win. We had some friends over that aren't super familiar with wrestling, but a lot of our friends and family are willing to check it out because it's something we love.
Because we're obsessed with it.
So, yeah, we had some friends that aren't super familiar with what's going on right now. And I remember saying, this girl coming to the ring, Zelina, she should win this match.
Yeah.
She deserves a championship. She's paid her dues. Certainly deserves to triumph over a Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
And,
they let Chelsea keep it for quite a while. And I mean, Chelsea's win was fantastic. We loved it. And it was exciting and hilarious. But she's not a long-term champ. And I mean, in interviews, she says she likes being the comedic relief. She likes being that character. She's not trying to be Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Right? So.
Well, and we talked before about, what's going to happen when she loses the belt. Because what's the Secret Harvest without their U.S. champ, right?
What do they change their tag team name to?
And but like, why are they serving her at all?
Yeah. True.
If she's not the champ, right?
She's not the champ.
Not that serving her as the champ makes any more sense, but
Yeah.
it's even more to speculate on.
We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to see Zelina Vega as a champ for sure.
Yeah, so that was great to see her win, and as she gets the win, Secret Harvest hasn't even gotten to the back yet, and they come rushing the ring, and she jumps out and just gets out of dodge. And I remember thinking, like, that's too bad because when you win a belt, you want to enjoy that moment. You want to stay in the ring.
Big celebratory moment.
No, she didn't get that. And that's her first singles title.
Yeah.
So, that's a huge moment. And they didn't give her that moment in the ring. They let her, up at the top of the ramp, hold the belt and have a moment with the crowd. But hopefully they're going to give her something next week because she deserves that.
She does.
Yeah.
Good for you, Zelina. Next, we had The Miz in the ring complaining about being overlooked.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something he's done in the past. I've gone back and watched a lot of Miz things, and this is not the first time he's played this card.
It's a lot of the time, even that we've seen him, that's what he's out there talking about.
Just reminding everybody of his accolades.
Yeah, why he's important.
Being angry about not getting more opportunities and demanding that he get them.
Yeah, so then we get a surprise return. Aleister Black comes out.
Mhm.
Yeah. I am not super familiar with him. I don't know that you really were. We kind of
No.
had to do some Googling on him to find out his background. But he came out. The crowd seemed very excited, chanting "Welcome back."
Yeah.
They were thrilled about it.
So this was another AEW guy, right?
So what we had read was that he was in NXT and then main roster WWE, then left to go. I don't know if his contract was dissolved or he left of his own volition, but he went to AEW for a while and now he has just come back to WWE.
Right. It was an odd spot. I mean, he comes out and kicks the Miz in the head for some reason. Doesn't really say anything. Doesn't say anything.
Just sits in the middle of the ring.
Sits cross-legged in the middle of the ring, and that's that.
Yeah, that's that.
Fade.
The crowd seemed to like it, though. I mean, for us, it hits differently when we don't know the character, right? We're not familiar with his history, so we're like, oh, this guy we don't really know comes up, sitting in the middle of the ring. But we're familiarizing ourselves with people now that we didn't know before, and the crowd seemed excited about it. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the worst thing. There's definitely a lot of mystery around the way he came in, right? I'm not saying it's terrible. It was just a bit odd. He comes in, kicks the Miz, and sits in the ring, and that's that. I mean, it's got some elements of mystery, I guess.
Yeah, exciting when they bring in new people or return people, just amp up different and new opportunities in storylines. So I'm excited to see what comes of that.
Yeah, I mean, how they think that they can handle bringing in more superstars in a roster that just already seems so hard to choose from night after night. I don't know why or how they can keep doing that, but
yeah, they're lucky. They got a good roster. They seem to be, you know what, though? This specifically, because he's coming over from AEW, like, there's it seems to be a clear message from WWE to AEW lately.
Yeah, watch out.
We're taking everyone.
Well,
I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know too much about AEW. And I know a lot of our WWE fans are AEW fans as well. So I don't want to make anybody mad.
There's some crossover, yeah. I mean, it seems, if you read a lot of online stuff, it does seem like there is some sort of divide between the two fans. Yeah. We don't watch AEW. That's not because we don't like it. We're not familiar with it at all. We just simply don't have time.
No, we also don't watch NXT, and we probably would like to watch NXT, but we cannot fit it into our schedule. So.
Yeah, I mean, it takes up all the spare time we have to try and keep up with what WWE is doing.
Yeah.
And we are happy to let it take up our time. If they, I was just thinking, like, if they continue to boost the roster and have, all these great superstars and bringing more and more in, why not do a Wednesday night show? They're doing house shows anyways. Do a Wednesday night, like, Wednesday night, whatever. And you can have, like, crossover of characters or build a whole new roster. You can have a new belt for that night. I mean, it's not so much like the Raw and SmackDown champs anymore, but, I mean, they kind of are.
Don't do that, though.
Call it.
I can't fit anymore.
You're like, why?
Why are you asking for this?
All right. I don't know why I'm
wrestling, but we don't have time.
I mean, for that matter, there's already a whole bunch of other WWE shows that we don't watch.
For sure. They have Speed, which I think airs on Twitter. Those are just quick matches on Twitter, which I caught a couple of, which is really cool. Now they've got all kinds of reality shows and interview shows. Stephanie McMahon's doing like 17 different shows. So they've got a lot going on.
Yep.
Next we had the previously announced match between LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. U.S. title #1 contender match.
Yeah. And as mentioned earlier, we were excited about this.
We were. As expected, probably. There was interference from Solo Sikoa. He Samoan spikes LA Knight.
Yeah. The ref didn't see that, though.
No.
So the match continued.
Yes, but then we get more interference because Damian Priest shows up to attack Drew McIntyre.
And the ref does see that.
Yeah, and this just leaves the match ending in chaos.
Well, it ends the match in a disqualification in
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's favor.
Yeah.
And that pissed LA Knight right off.
Yeah, yeah.
So he goes up to Priest after Priest's done putting a hurt on Drew and basically says, do you know what you just did? You cost me my title shot.
Yeah.
So, looks like a new storyline is kicking off.
Right.
Maybe some Priest LA Knight action.
That would be pretty cool.
Because with Drew winning by disqualification, he's going to now go and fight Fatu as he wanted to, and as I had hoped, will go and add some clout to that belt. And we can see what happens between Priest and LA Knight. These are two more big characters that you really like.
Yeah.
And
Damian Priest probably my number one, but he's, a little more muted in storyline compared to the others. He's involved, but not maybe as much as Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. So anything they keep throwing him into, I'm happy to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean, super entertaining for sure.
Yeah. Next, we had the Street Profits versus DIY versus MCMG. This was an exciting one. It was a tag title match. It was a tables, ladders, chairs match. TLC.
Yeah, what a treat! I said to those guests I was telling you about there that this is not a normal thing. Like to get a match like this is a pay-per-view-esque level match, right?
Sure.
You don't see this sort of thing on a Raw or SmackDown typically. So definitely a treat for the viewer.
It was super exciting. I thought the match was compelling the entire time. Lots of exciting stuff happening with the ladders and scary stuff happening with the ladders. One thing I will note, anytime I watch a ladder match and they're trying to grab that title up above, I'm like, and I think you were saying it too, like, why are you walking so slow?
Oh, man.
Obviously, they have to. Sometimes they have to delay because something else is supposed to happen and maybe somebody's not queued up the way they're supposed to be. But every time I'm like, take 2 more steps up the ladder and you've got it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were a few times where Johnny Gargano specifically just really, he looked foolish.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you don't want to knock a TLC match. It's amazing. These guys are giving it their all. They're putting their bodies on the line for the sake of entertaining the audience. And it's wonderful. But Gargano, like 2 or 3 times, was like one step away from being able to
so close,
quite easily grab the belts and be done with it. And he stands that one step too short trying to grab it. Like, oh no, I can't reach. And it's like, we'll take the friggin' step, man.
Yeah.
Like, just step up and it's over.
Yeah.
But clearly they were not intended to win the match, or, not intended to win the match that early. I don't know if we want to give away the winner yet, but.
Well, it's fine.
I guess I just did with the way I said it.
Yeah. Yeah, Montez Ford retrieves the belts to win the match. Which, I mean, the Street Profits are doing great. And they were exciting. I mean, I think that I don't know where it'll go. When they came back into it, it was extremely compelling. I mean, their mic work and their wrestling is all very good. So
I really like these guys. I've said it well before they won the belts. I just feel like they bring something so different to the tag division. I love it. They're just wicked on the mic. They're wicked in the ring. They're friggin' huge. They're awesome. I love it. I really
and their
dig them.
promos in the lead up to them winning the belts were so phenomenal.
Really good, yeah.
Like.
And that was that Netflix cinema stuff building up. They were really good.
Yeah, really great.
But yeah, Montez Ford, he finished this match off with some really impressive stuff, weaving in and out of the ladder as he got himself up between 2 ladders, smashing the guys. Like it was so cool. He made up for Johnny Gargano's sloppy ladder action.
That was it.
Yeah, well done, Street Profits.
Yeah, that was it for SmackDown.
Good SmackDown. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was a good one. It was pretty exciting. That TLC match really stole the show. I mean, I could have stolen a lot of shows. It was great. So
Yeah, pretty wicked.
yeah,
That's getting your money's worth for your ticket.
that's right. Yeah. Next, I guess we'll roll right into Monday Night Raw.
Fantastic.
So Monday Night Raw was on April 28th. It was at the PHX Arena in Phoenix, Arizona, 11,183.
Okay, so I mean, we're within like 400
Yeah.
of the SmackDown crowd.
That's right, about the same.
Super.
It is an average number. I mean, it's not super low. Occasionally, we've seen like an 8,000, and we're like, that's really low. Like,
Yeah, but usually those are still packed houses. They're just smaller venues. They choose those smaller venues. We had looked at a few that we were contemplating attending that were similar sized venues.
yeah,
And those are good shows to go to. There's not a bad seat in the house.
that's right. I should probably start noting capacity, because that would be interesting to compare capacity of the venue versus the number of tickets sold.
Right. Like I feel like they say sellout crowd every week. I don't know if it's true, but
There's a lot of talk about this online about WWE's very, you know, extravagant use of the term sold out.
right.
A lot of times I see where they've announced a sold out show and people have commented on Reddit or whatever saying, that's nowhere near a sold out show.
Well,
You sold out of all the tickets you released, not the capacity of the venue. And I think that's the difference. They choose how many tickets they release. They sell out of their tickets.
well, how can you argue with that?
It's
They control the sellout.
it's technically sold out because they haven't released any further tickets, but the venue is not sold out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they did say, I believe, that both nights of WrestleMania were sold out, and there was a good 3,000 person difference from night 1 to night 2. So that's an odd thing,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Like, what happened?
So I really do think these reports are coming from how many tickets they release, but
Perhaps.
it's interesting. Yeah. The interesting part is that if they decided to release 300 more tickets, then it wouldn't be a sellout anymore. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but
Well, they're doing well.
yeah, they're doing well. I can't complain. Really.
Good crowds.
Monday Night Raw. So this show opens with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker. Looking fancy, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Comes out in a suit.
Yeah, coming out like his own Secret Service.
Yeah, exactly. He's the muscle now. We've got the wise man, the eccentric, leader of the pack, and the muscle.
Yeah.
That's their faction. They come out, and Seth Rollins declares himself the future of WWE.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, I know you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm buying all of it.
It's super interesting.
All of what you're selling.
Yeah.
I'm buying it. Let's go.
I do like it. I mean, Seth Rollins plays that character so well. The visionary. So
Yeah. He's a master on the mic.
Yeah.
He really, really is.
Oh, I mean, he has the crowd in the palm of his hands. So
He's another one of these guys that's like, he's telling you, I'm the bad guy, people.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I am the bad guy, but they can't boo for him.
Yeah.
They just can't. They love him too much.
Seth and Becky, power couple.
Well, hey, with Becky, it's...
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Yeah. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I said bless you. It was probably a cough.
Robitussin.
Oh, yeah. Robitussin. This segment is interrupted by Sami Zayn. He comes out as a friend to talk to Seth Rollins, but he kind of questions his motives and his loyalty and compares them to the bloodline and says, you're doing the same thing that you've complained about,
Yeah, and I mean, it was valid. It was
and I mean, it's completely valid.
pretty accurate assessment of what's going on here.
Correct.
And you can tell Seth is like, well, yeah, that's not wrong. But, like, I was so wrong about where this was going because I feel like I'm really good on PLEs.
Yeah.
And then when the weekly shows come around, I'm just out to lunch.
Well, the weekly shows can be a bit of a pinball machine. They're kind of all over the place. So,
Yeah, no kidding.
that's where they're testing out different major storylines, right? So,
And I guess this one wrong. I thought he was coming out basically to be announced as a new member because it feels like there's not a lot going on with Sammy. Like, what are they going to
Yeah.
do? Um, they know he works well in a group. So I thought that this seemed like a likely possibility that he was just going to come out and basically be the fourth guy.
right. Yeah.
Not the case.
That's not what happened.
No.
Seth Rollins gives him an ultimatum and basically says, you can join our faction or you can leave for SmackDown. And I don't think Sammy wants to do either of those things. He says he's not going to run away.
Yeah, I mean, Seth says to Sammy, I love you. We go way back. I don't want to see any, hurt come towards you. So basically, if you're not with me, you're in my way. So I suggest you get the hell out of here. And he tells him, well, he has the wise man tell him, if you go over to SmackDown, you'll be the number one contender against whoever wins the Backlash match between John Cena and Randy Orton. And Sami Zayn's been very clear about the one thing that has eluded him through his career, and that is a world championship. So
Of course.
definitely gave him something to think about.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll see, I guess, if that's what he decides.
Well, he told him,
What?
think about it
Oh,
for the
yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
Or, oh, I see what you did there.
yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. You're very clever.
I like to think
It's
I'm
all for you,
clever.
the viewer. You see what she does for you? My gosh. She even had me fooled.
I'm an entertainer. I'm putting on a show. Okay?
Yeah, hell of a job. I mean, I was compelled and totally bought
You were
it.
hanging on every word
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Next, we had Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. This is pretty good. I think Roxanne Perez is a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, she's had a few high-profile matches for sure. She was in Chamber, right?
Yeah.
So, big deal. This was sort of the fallout of the prior week,
Yeah, exactly.
post-match attack with Io Sky.
Actually, before this, they had something. I can't remember. I made a note of what it was called, and I can't recall what it was. But they had. Oh, I think it was like highlight of the week or something like that. It was like a new segment.
Oh,
they did.
yeah, you're
There
right.
was like graphics for it and stuff, and it was like highlight of the week. And
Yep.
Michael Cole was talking about it, and it was that basically. It was last week's kind of beginning of this story. So
When the NXT girls crushed the party.
yeah, the NXT invasion that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened just before this match. Then we roll into this, and during this match, Julia interferes.
So same thing, only a little opposite, right? So instead of it being Io's match last week, it's Rhea's match this week.
Yeah,
And Io comes out to help.
exactly. They are beating on Rhea Ripley, and then Io comes out to make the save and help Rhea. So to your point, it is exactly like what happened last week, but just reverse WWE stars.
And honestly, and I'm not complaining, but that's not an unusual scenario. I mean, we may see this for another 1 or 2 weeks after this, like this same thing play out. They are not afraid to give you the exact same plot line over and over again. They don't know if you missed a week or two,
The story.
Here we go again.
And WWE fans in general might not love this. I'm not saying it like a bad thing, but the way storylines build, the comparison to soap operas is very similar. It moves at a similar pace to soap operas.
Well, I mean, it has to, like a soap opera, it's, ever changing.
Yeah.
There's no off season.
No.
And, I mean, soap operas are 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. So, yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. But we do get some repeats of some things because of that. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. At least they changed up whose match it was.
That's right. Yeah. So Rhea Ripley wins via disqualification.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, that's going to hopefully lead to something more with her and Io maybe.
Yeah.
teaming up, but I don't know.
I'm pretty intrigued by Julia, I've been thinking. I mean, I don't know a lot about her, but I like her look, and I don't know. I'm interested to see more of her, so.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
I had not really thought about it, to be honest.
You're like, NXT people.
Well, not so much that. It's, I mean, Roxanne Perez, I'm bought into her, and I figured, she's inevitably coming whenever the draft happens.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that later. But I think, yeah, I was more focused on what they're trying to do with Io and Rhea now, because this thing between them has been a back and forth for a while. It's this frenemy thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like, yeah, enemies with respect for each other. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. That's definitely the takeaway, for sure, from it. But, a lot of spots from these NXT ladies. So.
Yeah, and like, where did Bianca go? Because she and Rhea were the ones that had the heat, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that was going to be the one that they pursued with out of the three of them. I thought maybe Rhea would go on to something else with somebody else, but
yeah,
there's Rhea again.
Yeah,
just keeping herself in the title picture.
It doesn't matter if Rhea loses; she's in everything all the time.
Yeah, and she actually picked up the belt and held it to her. I swear she wants to hold the title in every episode of the brand. Maybe it's like this agreement she has in her contract. Even if I'm not the champ, I have to be in a title storyline and at least hold the belt for 1 second every episode.
Yeah. That would be great if that was in her contract.
I mean, I gotta start paying more attention to that.
Yeah, I'd like to see a list of ridiculous things WWE stars have put in contracts. I think that would be pretty hilarious. That's probably something we could Google.
I wonder if that is a thing, because for so long you heard about all the wrestlers just wanting their shot so bad that they would basically do anything for next to nothing.
Yeah.
So, but now, as we've mentioned in past episodes, these are millionaire contract athletes.
Oh my gosh,
they quite likely have contractual clauses that are potentially outrageous.
Definitely the more popular ones, the superstars that are on. I mean, they're all superstars. But I mean, like Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley and these high-level stars of WWE are likely able to make their own demands. I mean, they're making clauses to have tour buses and stuff, so.
I mean, the story goes that Vince flew his plane to Cody Rhodes' house.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess Cody was able to throw a couple things into his contract. Would be my guess. Although I think he's renewed since Vince left, so.
That's right.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows what's in there?
I think he's probably doing okay.
I'd say. Next, we had Logan Paul. He's demanding a world title shot from Jey Uso.
You know what sucked about this was that it was another one of these things where they came back from commercial and there's Logan in the ring already.
Yeah, I don't like when that happens, when we can't. Well, we love to see entrances in general. Yeah. And when they cut them off, it sucks.
You have to. If you haven't noticed, folks.
Wherever it is, yeah.
The show is called Poppin' Heat. So, we need to hear the crowd. So if you've just come back to the broadcast and the crowd has now stopped and they're about to talk, we've lost a lot of what we need. So if you're listening, Netflix, please let us have our entrances.
And to the WWE superstars, if you're letting them cut off your entrances, you are not a candidate for our weekly Top of the Pop and Hottest of the Heat. And that's some high status stuff. So,
well, let's be honest. That's a huge part of their brand.
Yeah.
It's
true, yeah.
That's
the music and everything, yeah. Because it builds up people's excitement for them. So
it's potentially detrimental to their, the build of their character and their success going forward. They need to have that. You need to give them all the chances to be successful. I would say that, they really need to assess their commercial placement. I don't want to be critical because we just issued an apology to Netflix.
Don't be rude to Netflix.
We love you. We love you, Netflix.
We're already
for more than just WWE. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be helpful with a suggestion on how to better place your commercials so your audience would be happier.
Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of catch as to when they have to have commercials. I'm not sure. They definitely are poorly placed sometimes. Yeah.
Anyways, Logan Paul's in the ring.
Moving on. Yeah, Logan Paul demands a world title shot, and Jey Uso super kicks him right in the head.
Yeah, and I don't hate that.
Yeah.
This is, again, I had alluded to this in a past episode, that Jay is, they're trying to make him a little bit less,
Edgier.
a little more edgy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're trying to make him edgier. Yes. Yeah.
So, he, once again, was trying to get the crowd to stop their yeeting.
Yeah.
While he was trying to do his serious talk.
Yeah.
They don't get it.
No.
They're not picking up the fact that he's telling them to stop.
Yeah.
They think he's like, oh, he wants us to do more, but he's going like, stop.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I don't know that it's a good idea for him to do that. I get where he's trying to go with it, but the crowd loves it. So
yeah, why, if it ain't broke?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Don't mess with it.
So I think he's really making a conscious effort to be like this more hard-edged guy, and he tells Logan to shove it and kicks him.
Yeah. And that's that. But that sets up a likely
that's
future
happening.
match. Yeah.
And I don't hate this. Logan Paul, he's been there for like 3 years. He hasn't been full time, but he's done a lot. He's put his body on the line, created a lot of great entertainment. He's, love it or hate it, he's there.
Yeah.
And he is that, I think, he is that Jey Uso level sort of star.
For sure, yeah.
And, with Jey being so over with the crowd, and with Logan being as big a heel as there is, this is fine. Like, why not?
I think arguably they are exactly the same level, just polar opposite styles, I guess,
Right.
Face and heel, and opposites, I guess, in their values. But they're both very trendy stars and very popular with the young crowds. So
that's another thing, right? So, like, this match will hit huge on social media.
Yeah, for sure it will, yeah.
It's gonna be mental.
Yeah. Yeah, Jey Uso's already huge on social media. Logan Paul, obviously, like, king of social media, so.
Yeah. There'll be some eyes on this one for sure. And, that's good. Attention is good.
It's good, yeah.
Anything that boosts this thing that we love, keeps it around for longer, makes the product better.
Yeah.
Hopefully doesn't cause their merchandise to go up in price anymore, because God, who the hell could afford that? But, happy to see the company doing so well.
For sure, yeah. Next we had the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day. Judgment Day being JD McDonough and Finn Balor.
Right. I mean, they can kind of throw any two guys together they want, right? Call it the Judgment Day.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to specify because, Dom wasn't
Right.
in the match.
Not Carlito.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He's busy chomping on an apple.
Yeah.
You can buy a signed apple of Carlito for like $150.
Like a real apple?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming.
I was like, why would you want that? It's going to go bad.
But, no. I think it's a
Silly.
plastic apple that you could put on your table in a fruit basket.
I wouldn't want that.
Struck some conversation. Just have people be like, why is there a signed apple in your fruit basket?
I have no interest.
Okay.
During
That's Carlito, folks. That's the
I
exciting.
like Carlito. I just don't want to buy a signed apple.
No.
I think that's silly. But anyway.
Me neither.
During this match, Penta interferes. Revenge for JD McDonough's interference, and costs the Judgment Day the match. So the War Raiders remain the top contenders.
Yeah, as you say, getting back at JD for...
Yeah. Happy to see him back in action, though, because his injury was super scary. So, like, I honestly am surprised to see him back so soon.
From what I heard, he wanted to come back quicker, but they were like, no.
Yeah, you You need your
That's
rest.
not happening.
You slammed into an immovable announce table with your back.
I really think that was a career-changing moment for him, though. I think, like, I'm never going to look at him the same.
He finished the match. It was insane.
And in that said match, had his head just beat the hell by these Warriors. And that's the other thing. His first freaking match back is with the same guys that he went out on injury with.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's about
I think back to that night and we saw that happen, and then multiple times he's walking around and we're like, I don't think he's okay. Like right away we knew like he's kind of wobbling around trying to get around, but he still finished the match impeccably considering that happened to him. So
Well, a lot of times there's injuries that put people out for a bit, but we don't hear about them until after the fact.
Right.
In that match, it was like something terrible just happened.
knew it
Michael
happened.
Cole said, like, okay, no, seriously, we need somebody to come and check on him.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, the doctors came to check on him, and he just waved them off. So, like, and you saw Dom be like, are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
it was insane. And as I say, he'll never be viewed the same by me, and I'm going to guess tons of other WWE fans. I think he earned a tremendous amount of respect from everybody, and
Yeah.
we're going to pay a little more attention to this guy.
Gains a lot of respect for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Very persistent, true perseverance from him. It's awesome. And that was that, yeah. War Raiders win. So the New Day was there too on commentary.
Yeah. I don't know why they would let the War Raiders win over the Judgment Day.
I don't know either.
I mean, the War Raiders just lost the belts, so I don't dislike the War Raiders, but I think that they've had a little more attention than they need recently.
Well, they just had
Maybe
a lot
that's
of
just me.
attention. I feel like we can move in a new direction for a little while because there has been a lot of attention on them, and I think we need to change it up a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, why are you gonna hand JD a loss in his first match back? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing with Judgment Day. Like, it's not about JD the man. It's more that character, I guess, that's getting handed the loss. But it just sucked. I would have hoped that after that he'd get a win coming back after that injury.
Yeah, for sure. I don't disagree with that. I was also just thinking maybe, they don't want too much focus on the Judgment Day. I mean, we've already got Dom with his title win. So,
Yeah, well, and Liv and Raquel with the tag belts. So,
yeah. They can't have the Judgment Day, although they need to
I thought that'd be great.
own Raw again.
If Finn and JD went and got the belts away from New Day, and Judgment Day had all the belts, like this mismatch group of...
That would be cool, yeah. I don't disagree.
I wouldn't hate it at all. I mean, I don't like Finn's character right now. I like Finn the wrestler because he's phenomenal, but Finn's character's just crap.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next, we had Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
In the ring. I love me some Becky Lynch.
Back in business, Bex.
Her first thing was really funny, talking about the attack on Bayley. And she was like, I've reviewed the tapes, I've looked them over and over, and I finally think we found the culprit. It was me. I did it. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was great. And you could tell. Like, you could tell that was coming too. I was like, oh, I'm going to love this.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like heel Becky Lynch. I like all faces of Becky Lynch. So
yeah, I mean, if you haven't read her book, she talks about WWE attempting to turn her heel over the years.
Before, yeah.
And generally speaking, it's a failed mission.
Yeah, because the people love her.
Yeah, it sort of doesn't matter what she does. The people are just going to love her. So it's failed in the past. I think they've tried it a few times, and they tried to, get her heat with other big heels, and it just didn't work. It seems like maybe this time it's working. Maybe they're more receptive to it because of John Cena.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but Yeah, I mean Becky, when you start shitting on the hometown crowd,
Yeah.
it helps
She
build your
did
heat.
great like this was great stuff. I found that I mean, I didn't see when they tried to make her heel before. I didn't see any of that. But I thought she did really well at turning on the crowd and, turning on Lyra. And I just think that the reaction she's getting is promising for keeping her as a heel for a while, which is obviously what WWE wants and what Becky wants right now. So
Yeah, no,
I'm happy with that.
it seems like they were digging in.
Yeah.
I feel like the crowd started buying it, and yeah, when she started putting them down,
Yeah.
I think they were like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll give you your booze.
We're in.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's fun.
Yeah. So she blames Lyra Valkyria for siding with Bailey. She says that a friend of my enemy is also my enemy, and there is a tussle. Lyra puts a big platform boot to Becky Lynch's face at one point.
Yeah.
Through the ropes.
Yeah, swings through the ropes and gets her right in the face. It was pretty wild. Yeah.
And Becky screaming at her, and all of it culminates in a title match at Backlash.
Yeah, and when she kind of made the turn last week, I thought, okay, cool. Becky wants to go for this Intercontinental belt, and I like that. You know, Becky's a huge star, and the Intercontinental title used to have huge stars win it.
Yeah.
And if that's the direction that WWE's going in again, like we're talking, Macho Man was an Intercontinental Champion, Ultimate Warrior Intercontinental Champion, like big names of the past. And if they're going to get back to that sort of thing and give that credibility to these what have become mid-level belts, I think that's great. Why not?
And it's a title she hasn't had in a company where she's held everything. So
this is it.
Yeah.
And you would think that a Becky Lynch is going to prevail over Lyra Valkyria and add an Intercontinental belt to her list of accolades and give us a reason to potentially add that belt to our collection.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It grows. The collection, it grows.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not spend all the monies?
I mean, it's an investment.
Yeah. Yes. If you bought it on sale, did you really spend any money on it?
That's it.
Yeah. Next, we had Stephanie Vaquer. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right, awesome, cool. Versus Ivy Nile. This is kind of cool. More NXT stuff, though.
Yeah, I don't know where this came from.
No.
Stephanie Vaquer had fought Io last week, and that's where all that NXT other stuff would re.
This is definitely out of the blue, for sure.
But yeah, Ivy Nile, okay. Yeah. I mean, we like Ivy Nile. We used to like her a lot more. We don't like this American-made version of Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stephanie Vaquer is clearly becoming a big star. She's got this very popular signature move that she's doing in every match that just has everybody going crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, she's building a very quick star for herself.
Yeah, I think likely to come up to the main roster.
One would think, yeah.
I mean, she's very present right now.
She was holding 2 belts. She's the one that had 2 belts a few weeks ago in NXT.
Yeah, she relinquished. We had looked this up because Sol Ruka, who I love, don't even watch NXT, but just the clips I've seen of her, she's amazing. Another one of these gymnast types.
Well, she's a speed champ now too, isn't she?
Yeah, so she won speed, and then she won the belt that Stephanie Vaquer had relinquished. Vacated because she wanted to focus on her other title. She vacated that, and Sol Ruka won it, I think, in like a 6-woman match. I don't know all the details, but yeah, so
cool. I wish we had more time. I mean, it sounds great.
I think I would be really interested in watching it, but there are not enough hours in the day. Okay, we both have jobs, and then we have babies, and then we have this. That's it. That's all we have time for.
That's all the time. Yeah.
That's all the
All
minutes.
the minutes are eaten up.
Yeah. So during this, Stephanie Baker wins against Ivy Nile, which I'm a little sad for Ivy Nile. We just can't get a good win for Ivy here.
You know, there's something to be said for that character that somehow remains somewhat relevant through loss after loss, though. I mean, good on her. I don't think we've seen the last of her. So.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I just, she's definitely on a building other people up run. So.
Yeah, they should throw her a bone. I mean,
I think so.
She's not at a place where her sole purpose should be putting others over. I would definitely say that.
Maybe they'll get her going with Zelina Vega or something. I said I think she should be U.S. champ because her whole she's American made, yeah. So I think that she would be great to hold that title. If we can get there, we got to work the storyline there. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Next, we had Pat McAfee making a big announcement to the crowd about Gunther's attack on Henry Michael Cole.
Yeah. So I hoped this was what it was.
Yeah.
And I was so happy when he announced what it was.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and tell?
I will, sure.
She's going to tell you folks.
Well, first I just want to say that he had a very nice speech about Michael Cole and his loyalty and respect for Michael Cole. How Michael Cole is the GOAT and that he'll protect him at all costs and they're great friends and this whole really wonderful thing. And I just really liked it. It felt genuine. I think he really feels all those things about Michael Cole. So I liked that. And I just
you can really feel the bond between them. I mean, he pokes a lot of fun at him, but that's the character.
Yeah.
And it's the whole dynamic. It's wonderful. And yeah, the best part of that whole Gunther attack thing was Pat coming to Michael's rescue.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
and
sweet.
I mean, it was great. And then Gunther attacks Pat from behind. And I thought, Pat's no slouch. This is a pro athlete here. This is a former NFL.
Yeah.
I got a feeling he's not going to be okay with Gunther embarrassing him the way he did. Or, not embarrassing, but, disrespecting him.
Disrespecting is probably the better word for sure.
And, this was...
Pat? Yeah.
Challenging.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought there was something else you were going there. So, anyways, he challenges Gunther to a match at Backlash. Shock.
Take notes, Nick Aldis.
Yeah, Nick Aldis. Pat McAfee can do it. You can do it too. Okay?
Jeez.
Get in there. You were an actual wrestler. Okay?
Yeah.
So mad about that.
Yeah, you're going to be bitter for a long time.
Yeah, I really.
Nick, you blew it.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, exciting, and back to what we were talking about Michael Cole. Like he said in an interview that the moment he and Pat McAfee met, he was like, "We sit down together and it's two guys drinking a beer at a bar. We're just like fast friends." I like that. I like that angle on this, and it'll be really exciting to see him and Gunther.
Yeah. And Michael calling the match. Oh my God, it's going to be so good.
It's going to be crazy. They have lots of opportunity here to make this pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that is a tough ask for Gunther to carry that match, and he will have to, obviously. I mean, Pat has very minimal in-ring experience. He has some, but not a lot. Yeah. And, I mean, he's in there with the Ring General. Did I say that right?
Ring General.
The Ring General.
The Ring General.
All right, wow. You gotta say it like angry like that. It's very German.
Yeah, well, that's Gunther. That's his whole thing. He's an angry man.
Yep. So yeah, he's got his work cut out for him, trying to make the most out of that match. But the excitement of the characters will really help to carry it a long way as well. So I'm pumped for that. Backlash is shaping up real nice.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Lots of cool matches.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. Lastly on Raw, we have Sami Zayn's decision.
Yeah.
So he decides that he's going to stay on Raw.
He ain't joining and he ain't running.
He is not doing either of those things. He doesn't want any of it.
So they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. So then Braun Breaker kind of destroys Sami Zayn. Seth Rollins stops him. This is interesting, though. Interesting build-up for a feud there. Sami is the everyman's wrestler, as I always say.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, Seth stopped him to then stomp him.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said stopped.
No, stomp.
Oh, because he stopped Braun, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yes, he did, and makes a speech about we got to give certain people respect.
Because, yeah, it looks like he's trying to save them. Like, oh, leave him alone. No.
I could see where your confusion was, yes. Yeah, that does happen, you're right. And then he stomps his head down into the ring.
Yep. So, Seth, to stay on course for this mission of, creating the new WWE.
His vision.
He's willing to stomp friends along the way.
He's a visionary.
He sure is. You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
I suppose you do. Yeah.
Sorry, Sammy. Collateral damage.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll see where that goes. I don't know if this will be a long-lasting feud or something that'll end quickly, but they're certainly building it up right now. So.
Yep.
And that was it. That was Raw.
Yep. Couple good episodes. Lots of good story. As I said, Backlash shaping up real nice. Get the Becky Intercontinental match.
Yeah.
Right away into a title story. Love it. We've got the Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu thing coming up.
Right.
That's going to be great. I hope Drew wins that belt. He says he wants to fight the best, and that's, in his opinion, is Jacob Fatu right now. I really hope that belt goes back and forth for a little bit. I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
And then that's another one we'll have to add to the collection.
Yes. Well, speaking of the best,
Let's do it.
Let's roll into our first segment.
Top of the pop.
Top of the pop.
Yeah. Well.
I know. Who do we choose? Who do we choose? We're typically into a Cody thing, but I don't know. Pat McAfee got a lot going on Raw.
Yes.
I'm looking back through.
I have what I think is the winner.
Ooh, let me just take a look at SmackDown so that I can see if I have a.
We'll say it at the same time and see if we say the same thing.
Interesting.
You love a game, right? So
I do love a game. Okay. All right, you ready?
Well, like 1, 2, 3, say the name.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Okay.
That's how we have to do it.
1,
2, 3.
Randy Orton. Bam.
That's pretty great.
I like it.
Ooh.
You love this game.
I do like this game, yeah. Maybe we should make this a regular segment of Popping Heat.
That's not bad.
In the segment. A
We're on
segment
the
within
fly.
a segment. It's like a, Russian doll of segments.
It's fun. I like making things up on the fly.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I think that's a good pick. Randy Orton did get a ton of pops.
The way his music hit just before Cena was able to say anything was pretty wicked too.
Yeah.
I love when they time the music like that. It's awesome. And sometimes you can tell that they're waiting for it, and it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
they didn't get it right.
Yeah.
But
You're like, what's happening right now? Is something supposed to be happening? Because everybody's just standing around.
I remember earlier this year, Charlotte had a segment like that. I'm like, what's going on? Something's supposed to... Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I do remember
That was weird.
Yeah.
But, so Randy's music hit right at the right time. Crowd went bananas, as they should. He's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, he's really great, for sure. He deserves it. He deserves the top of the pop. But that'll take us into our next segment.
You suck.
Hottest of the heat.
Hottest of the heat.
Well, it may have been Logan Paul, but who would know?
Yeah, we wouldn't know.
Who would even freaking know?
WWE stole that from us. Are we gonna do 1, 2, 3 again? Is that what you think we're gonna do?
I don't know. I can't even think right now of who would be.
I'm just looking through, and I really only have one contender, so I'm willing to say it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with something as well. And I'm
Okay.
basing it on crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
John
John Cena. This was not planned, folks. This is not scripted stuff here.
Yeah.
This is
This is great.
reality TV
I
at
love
its
this
finest.
method. We finish each other's.
Sentences.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Oh
I'm
wow.
glad that's where you went.
That's amazing.
John Cena for sure. Yeah, he's been carrying the heat. He's been carrying it for quite a few weeks now.
Yeah. I feel like the John Cena sucks chant is ringing out loud and clear, and that's as good as a boo.
Yeah, for sure it is. Yeah, lots of the chance he gets, or even just cheers for others against him. So
I gotta say, hats off to Cena and his acting ability. I mean, some people might think this is silly to say, but his face just looks so angry every second of these promos. He just looks disgusted.
well, he looks like a different
with
person.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
He
crazy.
really, with this heel turn, has been able to make himself look like a completely different person.
It's bananas. Like, hats off. Like, you are a talented actor, sir.
Good on you.
Good job. Because I know you're not that man.
No.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the fact, just saying, you're not this man. That's what Randy's angle was, right? He was he was parent shaming him.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even
He's like,
mention
how
that.
dare you
How
parent
dare
shame
you
me?"
parent shame me? Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not inaccurate.
No, I mean, it's kind of rude. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm not against Randy Orton, so.
Well, congrats, fellas. Top of the pop, hottest of the heat for this week.
Winners.
I see big things in both your futures.
Yeah, feel proud.
I really think you guys are going places.
Well, that'll take us to our last special segment.
The social.
Social.
Social. See, this is on video for the first time.
Yeah, that's true. People get to see
That's it.
how we make that magic.
It was like a music video.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, we'll have
We didn't even mention that. Hey, first episode on video.
Yeah, hi.
Episode 20.
I think we
One.
were a little unsure of whether it would actually work out, so we didn't want to draw attention to it. But it seems to be going okay so far.
And if it doesn't look good, we're going to edit this audio right now.
Yeah, exactly. We just snip it right out.
Fantastic.
It'll be like it never happened.
Yeah.
Okay, first up on the social, 2025 WWE Draft. We haven't heard of when this is happening. Usually, or last year anyway, I should say usually, I've only been watching WWE for a year. Last year it happened in April. This year, obviously, WrestleMania was a little bit later than last year, and draft didn't happen. And we've got a really busy time coming up here with PLEs and everything, so I don't know when they're going to have the draft, but they haven't announced anything, and they're just kind of bringing people up from NXT and in from AEW, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it seems like maybe that's not going to be the thing anymore. They'll just kind of feed NXT people up whenever they feel necessary, and if they hit, then they'll keep them around.
Yeah, I brought it up because there was an article I read that said it is still supposed to happen, but there's been zero announcement about it, so.
I mean, what the draft does is it specifies, where they're gonna be. Right?
That's right. And bringing people up from NXT.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're just coming up willy-nilly right now, right? So at
That's
least
right. What's the
the
point of
draft
the
will
draft?
clarify, are you a Raw or SmackDown
Right,
wrestler,
okay. Yeah.
right? So it's, I mean, other than that, I don't know what difference does it really make if they
No,
do the draft or not.
just curious, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Next item on the social, Steve Austin, Stone Cold, interviewed about
Captain Crash.
yeah, about his quad crash at WrestleMania. So we watched that live, as did most of you, and we were like, uh-oh.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of funny at first.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a tragedy. Nobody got seriously injured that we know of. There were some people that were shocked a little bit more than anything.
Apparently one,
Very
very much so, yeah.
shocked and maybe angry person behind the barricade, but seemingly nothing terrible happened in the moment, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, I guess he came out with a statement just saying that, like, it's a different throttle than what he's used to, and he's, you know, he's like, I'm normally pretty handy on a four-wheeler.
Yeah, he was embarrassed,
Yeah.
and yeah, in a moment like that, that's certainly not what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
But you know, he's Stone Cold.
You know, he played it off really well. As soon as so he crashed, tried to back up, couldn't get the four-wheeler going, and he was just like, screw it, just got off the four-wheeler, rolled right into the ring, and just started his promo that he was supposed to do, or his announcement that he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he was announcing the total attendance
Yeah.
for the two nights. It seemed like kind of a wonky thing to be bringing the GOAT down for, to announce attendance.
They could have done so much more with him there. I was really excited we assumed he would likely be there because he was supposed to be in Vegas for the Hall of Fame. And we thought they would do more with him than that.
I thought he'd be involved in that Cody match in some way, because he had said to Cody, like, if you need me, I'm there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just thought that would have played out pretty well. Not necessarily to help him get the win, but, you know, be involved in some way.
Maybe he wouldn't have been involved in a four-wheeler collision had they put him in a match with Cody Rhodes.
Likely not.
As support for Cody Rhodes.
But yeah, hopefully that whole thing's going to calm down. I feel like that's been made way too big a deal.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just, it's not. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Nobody was hurt. Leave Stone Cold alone. He's earned a couple crashes.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I just felt bad for him. Walking backstage after that happened had to suck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rough moment in Gorilla for sure.
Yeah. Last thing was Liv Morgan announced that she's going to be on a bit of a hiatus.
Hollywood Morgan.
She's going into some movie stuff. I originally read that it was a movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Uma Thurman. I got to do a little research on this, because then tonight before our recording, we read that it was something called Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, which I don't think was what I originally read. So I'll look that up and I'll report back some more information on that. But she's supposed to be off for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and, you know, not a shock to me at all. All I've been doing for the last 5 months that we've been doing this podcast is tell the world what a star Liv Morgan is.
Yeah, speaking on her good graces.
Yeah, she's a star.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she is. And, you know, it's hard to say who, you know, the male counterpart would be. Maybe a Seth Rollins, right? Like somebody that has that, like, almost Joker-like quality to her Harley Quinn.
Right.
Like, just a maestro. But yeah, just the star power is beaming with her. And yeah, to hear that she's going off to the movies, not a shock at all. I'm sure it'll work out well for her.
No.
Bit of a bummer to the regular WWE watcher.
Yeah, it's something that's good for her and kind of sucks for us. So
Something that's easier to do longer term in their careers. So when the opportunities come, it's something that they really want to take advantage of to try and solidify that path for them when wrestling is done, right?
Right.
Sensible.
Well, congrats, Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I have a little something else to add to this.
Ooh, tell me.
You already know, but they don't know.
Okay.
You don't know I'm going to tell them.
I'll feign excitement.
But here we go.
Okay.
We did something very cool this past week. Something extremely cool. And what that is we purchased ringsider tickets.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't know what you were talking about, but this was exciting.
Yeah, this is for the August 8th SmackDown, which is the first SmackDown following SummerSlam. SummerSlam is 2 nights for the first time this year, so very WrestleMania-esque. It's going to be monster. And, you know, the Raw and SmackDown episodes following the big pay-per-views are generally very exciting. So we got ourselves some ringsider packages, so we're super excited. Going to get some great content to share with you guys about that and what our thoughts are on that whole thing are. And we were talking about this, saying, you know, in the past year, we've experienced kind of everywhere you could sit in a venue.
Yeah.
For wrestling.
Yeah, we've done kind of everything else other than floor seats at this point. So.
Yeah. The nosebleeds in a stadium where you can barely see the ring. And in our circumstance, it was Elimination Chamber, so it was even worse. There was a cage around there.
And we were behind the WrestleMania sign, so.
It was fantastic. But then we've had, you know, right at the front of the 100 level.
Yeah.
Great seats.
Behind the timekeeper area.
Yeah, you can't see that on TV.
Video village kind of area, yeah.
You never get to see that angle on the televised episodes, but
behind
great seats.
Cameras. Yeah, it was great.
And we've had kind of mid-level 100 seats a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know, now we're going to have arguably some of the best seats in the house.
Yeah, so camera view on the floor right behind the ring. Where green shirt guy sits, where all those people sit that you see right in the camera view.
Yeah,
so gonna be in there.
I want to wear a yellow hoodie with our logo on it, and I want to hold up a sign that says "Yellow Hoodie Guy" and an arrow pointing down.
So look for us.
Yeah, we're gonna get famous.
August 8th, Montreal.
I mean, I feel like I might get myself talked about in a couple forums. Like, did anybody see the guy with the yellow hoodie guy sign? Like,
cool.
I want to be that guy.
Mention us just for that excitement, please.
Yeah, let's go. So yeah, that's happening August 8th. Can't wait to share that with you. Yeah. Obviously a lot of time between then and now, but that's going to be exciting, watching the stories build up for SummerSlam and then knowing we're going to get to check out the fallout of that.
And we'll post about our excitement leading up to it. And if you want to see those posts, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X/Twitter, and we're at Poppin' Heat. That's POPNHEAT.
And once again, you probably already know this because you're listening now, but you can also find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and Audible. And now, YouTube. Welcome, Poppin' Heat, to the YouTube universe.
Welcome to visual entertainment.
Here we go. So you can get a little taste of this studio that we've created behind us. We will release a separate video onto our YouTube account that will kind of give you the whole tour of the room and everything that we've done. We'll probably throw a couple, progress pics as we had gone through.
Yeah, I have lots of our in-progress pictures. So
so that'll be fun.
Show everyone that.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
But thanks for joining us again.
Yeah.
We'll see you again next week for episode 22.
Check back in with us. And thanks for listening and watching.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.